Good morning, kings, queens, and internet cousins, and welcome to another episode of Let's Dish, where I do dishes and talk about true crime and the shit that's on my mind. That way I don't got to do it alone. Sorry for the bad angles today. I tried, but the tripod was not tripoding in this corner. Today, I want to talk about the Kendrick Johnson case, which is a case I've been talking long and hard about for about 13 years now, unfortunately, because we've never gotten justice. But I feel that we will be getting it soon. Kendrick Johnson was a 16-year-old boy who lived in Valdosta, Georgia, and he was unalived at Lowndes County High School in Georgia, okay? This case is very hard for me to talk about. It's by far one of the biggest injustices I've personally ever seen in my lifetime as far as a criminal case goes, and the fact that his killers are still walking free blows my mind. So Kendrick was an amazing student, an amazing kid all around, loved by everyone who knew him. He did get in high school, he got into one altercation allegedly with two boys, well, one boy named Brian Bell. They were on the school bus, and I guess allegedly the Bell brother was a bully, and he pulled on Kendrick's dread, which obviously started a fight, because who wants to get their hair pulled out? Definitely not me. And apparently the Bell brother had lost that fight. So instead of everyone just taking it on the chin like, hey, he started this fight and lost it, that's not what happened. The father became getting highly upset that he wanted Kendrick to come to their house so they could refight. Mind you, Kendrick did not start this fight. They were on the bus to either like a football or some kind of game, and that's when that happened. So at that time, Brian was allowed to sit in the stands with his family, but for some reason, although Kendrick wasn't even the one who started the fight, they made him sit in the back of a police cruiser during that game. Does that seem very fair to you guys? He defended himself from a fight from a bully, and the one child gets to go sit with his parents, who, mind you, his dad's ex-FBI allegedly. And yeah, so Kendrick already was getting bullied basically and pushed to the side. Well, as if that wasn't enough, the Bell dad could not leave it alone. He just kept going up to Kendrick and telling him how bad that he wanted Brian, or he wanted the boys to refight, but he wanted them to fight at his house. Now, my parents were the same way growing up, especially if I started a fight. If I were to have lost that fight, they would have beat my ass, which I only ever started one fight, and my parents did beat my ass, which I deserved it, and I'm glad they did, because I would have became a bully if not, like this other child was. And that's weird to me. What kind of parent says, no, I want you to refight my son, but I want you to do it at my house? First of all, that doesn't sound like anything an adult should be saying to 16-year-old boys. Kendrick had been telling his dad that he had been being followed, very eerily followed through the hallways of the school by the Bell brothers, which they have denied this claim. But there was footage that actually just released recently again, and it shows the Bell brother that said he had not made contact with Kendrick that day in the hallway with him, right behind him, following him like a creep, right? So I don't know, dude. I don't know how this case went unsolved for this long, or how any of this ever didn't go anywhere, because it's absolutely crazy. So Kendrick goes to school, and around lunchtime, they were supposed to have a wrestling meet. The Bell brothers were 2 hours away in like Macon, Georgia or something, right? Well, they go to lunch, and then none of them, they were excused from like third and fourth period, although in their interviews they claimed they were in third and fourth, first, second, third, and fourth block is what one of the Bell brothers said, right? You see the kids walking through the walking through the hallway. They go into the gym. Kendrick seen going into the gym and never seen coming out. They literally edited the footage to where There was 35 cameras that worked at all times, and ironically, the time that all of this happened, they couldn't find it on the camera footage. The cameras were malfunctioning. Yeah, that's the same thing that happened in Epstein's cell, remember? Remember when this happened to Epstein and this was the exact same thing that happened in his cell? Remember that? Yeah, that's real ironic that anytime a 3-letter agency starts getting involved in a crime like this, that some shit pops off like that. Yeah, okay. But the moral of the story is Kendrick was found rolled up inside of a gym mat, and as if that wasn't bad enough, they lied and said that he fell into the gym mat trying to retrieve his shoe. First of all, those gym mats roll up about this tight when you roll them up correctly, so I know that's a lie. Second of all, I would love to know how many times he ever put his shoes inside of a gym mat to get them out at practice or whatever the case may be. So the parents stayed up waiting for their son for him to never come home. So he had technically died the day before, and the school had still never told them. Amongst him being at the school, his fingernails were clipped. Okay, so what kind of teenager would know that there's DNA that gets held underneath your fingernails whenever you're in an altercation like that and defending yourself? And that would have left the DNA of the killer behind for them to find. So isn't that funny that they trimmed the fingernails? Because only someone who was experienced in stuff like this would have known that the fingernails needed to be trimmed so they could avoid detection of being caught. Amongst other things, like the fact that they tried to classify it as an accidental or like a freak accident death, but when the family went to do their own independent autopsy, Kendrick's organs were missing. Oh, it makes me so sick to say that. His organs were missing. His vital organs were missing. I want you guys to understand that. He did not just fall into a gym mat and suffocate of an asphyxiation like they said. He literally was missing his heart, his liver, his organs, you guys, his organs. So where did they go? Okay? It's so awful, you guys. This is by far one of the worst true crime cases I've ever seen in my lifetime, especially the fact that it's went unsolved for so long. It makes me absolutely physically ill to think about it and what his family has been through. There's more videos coming out now that shows that there was a Lowndes County sheriff out there that night at the school. So why would the sheriff have been at the school if nobody knew anything had happened? How come when Kendrick's family had to throw him a funeral, which, by the way, they should have never had to bury their son, nor should they have had to pay for a funeral, so they definitely deserve more than $10 billion for the hell you guys have put them through, in my personal opinion. I don't remember what I even said before that, because that just pissed me off so bad that they had to bury their son and pay for his burial. Oh, the school never sent a flower, a condolence. They never showed up to his funeral. Nothing. The Bell brothers were interviewed. Nothing ever came of that, which definitely should have, because it showed video footage of one of the Bell brothers around the time at lunch that Kendrick would have been killed, walking through the hallways, no shoes, carrying a trash bag, which is ironic because if you were going to a wrestling meet, wouldn't you have just put all of your stuff inside of your book bag or inside of like an athletic bag, obviously? You wouldn't have been carrying your stuff through the hallway in a freaking trash bag. Trash bags are for trash, for garbage. And unfortunately, they treated Kendrick Johnson less than garbage, in my personal opinion. The very least of respect that could have been given to this child was given, and it makes me absolutely, it infuriates me actually. So the parents should have obviously never had to bury their son. They should have never had to have a funeral in regards to their son. And they definitely shouldn't have been waiting for 13 years to get justice for their son. So there is a documentary if you would like to hear more about Kendrick's case. It's called Finding Kendrick Johnson. It's available on Tubi for free. I will give you a trigger warning. It's very sad. It is it will shake you to your core. If you don't deal with stuff like that very well, I wouldn't really recommend deep diving into that documentary. It took me 2 days, and I'm an avid true crime watcher, lover, whatever you would say. I do watch a lot of true crime, and that documentary is by far one of the ones that I just wish that I never would have seen, but it needed to be seen. So please watch it, and please keep Kendrick's family in your prayers, and please pray for justice for Kendrick. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good day. I'll do another part 2 sometime. Love you. Bye. Realist Reigns out.